Question reads, consider the following statements. Some microorganisms can grow in environments with temperature above the boiling point of water. Some microorganisms can grow in environments with temperature below the freezing points of water. Some microorganisms can grow in highly acidic environment with a pH below 3. So before going to the source, if you remember the question that involved mushrooms, I did tell you a tip that we could use to answer such questions, especially when it comes from science. So if you see, all these three statements have some as the keyword. Some microorganism. So for this statement to be false, say some microorganism can grow in environments with temperature above the boiling point of water. For this statement to be false, the questioner has to verify there is not even a single microorganism that can grow in temperatures above boiling point of water. That is pretty hard to do. And if the questioner has picked up this or prepared this question after reading some science statements from newspaper or any static book, the chances for that book or source to cite something like that, that is there are no microorganisms that can grow in environment with temperature above the boiling point of water, is very low. So the chances for this statement to be false is very less. So if you apply the same logic on all three statements, you can see that since we are asked about some microorganism that can grow in extreme temperatures and acidic conditions, there are chances that there exist some microorganisms like that, and all these three statements are true. I am saying this without even properly reading the statements. So by the general structure of the statements, I am saying the chances are all these three statements are true. And now let's think about let's look at the source I have given. I have mentioned one source, as you can see. Let me just open it up 1 second. So it's an article from Hindu. So as you can see, microbes at the top of the world. So it's an article from Hindu, from the SciTech section, April 22, 2023. So it's before the prelims only. So it's talking about microbes at the top of the world. So it says there are microbial communities. At high altitude, there is low oxygen, strong winds, temperature usually below minus 15 degrees, and high levels of UV radiation. All these make life process difficult. And as there is an interdependence among species of all sizes in all ecosystem, even microbes cannot sustain themselves. So they are saying there are some extreme conditions in the high altitude, so even microorganisms cannot sustain in such conditions, is what they are saying. So, but if you see, microbe hunters were able to identify the bacteria and other microorganisms found on the south called cosmopolitan signature is seen in the microbes collected here. Also found Modestobacter altitudinus and the fungus Naganischia, which are known to be UV resistant survivors. So basically they have found some microbes in those extreme conditions. So that is what this news is about. So probably this is what, I'm not sure, but this is what triggered this question. And if you go back to the question, let me just, in the question, it says, some second statements reads, some microorganism can grow in environments with temperature below freezing point of water. So minus 15 degrees Celsius and all, there are some microorganisms that was news about. So, and probably this statement triggered the person who prepared this question to just add two other statements where microorganism has found in extreme some conditions like low pH, and that is highly acidic environment and high temperature. You can easily find out such instances if you just Google. So that is what I said. This is a tip you could use to approach such questions. So again, a warning, this is not a foolproof method. This could be wrong, but you could keep this point in mind while looking at the options and making a reasonable guess. So if that is the only point that is left. Like if you obviously, if you know the data, if you know the correct option, because you have read something about it, then this tip is not needed. But if you are a person who got stuck, who is not very clear, who haven't read anything on it, you could use this tip to approach this such kind of questions. So yeah, so yes, that is a question 18 for you. Okay, I'll take up the next question, question 19.